You ever get a check engine light, smell gas after a drive, or feel your idle go wonky and instantly think, great, that's gonna be expensive? Well, here's the wild part: a loose or faulty gas cap is actually the most common cause of a check engine light, according to professional auto mechanic at Danny's Engine Portal. That means a ton of drivers are throwing money at sensors, pumps, and valves, when the real problem is a $15 plastic cap they never bothered to check. I've been wrenching for over 15 years, and I've had cars roll into the shop with all the signs of a major fuel system failure: rough idle, EVAP codes, poor mileage, and guess what fixed it? Not a sensor. Not a fuel pump. Just a gas cap that wasn't sealing right. Sounds dumb, right? But when that tiny seal fails, your EVAP system freaks out. Your car starts throwing codes like P0440 and P0457, gas vapor starts leaking, and you're chasing problems that aren't even real. In this video, I'll show you how to spot the symptoms of a bad gas cap, how to test it like a pro, which caps to never buy, and the one cleaning trick that can fix rough idle, vapor leaks, and more without spending a dime on sensors or scans. So before you throw parts at a ghost problem, let me show you the fixes that actually work and how this one overlooked part can screw up your entire system. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and I'll save you hundreds, one gas cap at a time. Alright, let's start with the most common symptom that fools even experienced drivers. The big problem no one talks about. You'd be surprised how many drivers come in complaining about bad gas mileage, hesitation, or a weird check engine light, and it all comes down to a bad gas cap. Sounds too simple, right? When that cap doesn't seal properly, your EVAP system can't trap fuel vapors. That means you're not just losing gas, you're throwing off your air-fuel ratio. Poor combustion, rough performance, and worse mileage follow fast. Your OBD2 system is sensitive. It can detect even a tiny pressure drop. That check engine light? It might just mean your cap isn't tight or the gasket's cracked. Smell gas after parking? That's vapor escaping. And it's your car's way of warning you before bigger problems hit. A simple cap swap, vented or non-vented as required, can fix the issue and restore lost power. Check engine light from a loose gas cap? Last month, a guy rolled into my garage panicking over his check engine light and a drop in fuel mileage. His scanner pulled P0440 and P0457, which usually scream EVAP system leak. He thought it was a bad sensor or something in the vacuum line. But get this, his gas cap wasn't even sealing right. No click, no lock, just spinning. The cap threads were dirty, the gasket dry as cardboard. I grabbed a fresh OEM cap, twisted until I heard that satisfying click, cleared the codes, and sent him off. No more error, no more emission warnings. Just a $15 fix that saved him a pointless EVAP detection job. Here's what most drivers miss: your OBD2 system constantly runs monitor checks during a drive cycle, looking for pressure changes in the fuel tank. A loose or bad cap throws off that balance and fails the readiness tests, triggering a malfunction flag. Want to know if your cap's good? Do the tighten and click test. No click? Replace it. Too tight? You could crush the seal or overstress the cap. Either way, you're setting off a trigger that makes your onboard diagnostics think you're on the verge of a misfire. Always scan, always confirm, before you tear into parts that aren't broken. But here's another common sign most drivers miss, and it doesn't always come with a warning light. Fuel smell or rough idle after parking? Check your gas cap gasket. Had a guy pull in last week complaining about a rough idle and a strong fuel smell right after parking. His guess? Bad injectors or maybe a cracked manifold. I popped the hood, checked the engine bay, and everything looked fine until I unscrewed his gas cap. That thing was caked with grime, particles, and the rubber gasket was as dry, flattened, and brittle as a 3-day-old donut. The seal had no give, so vapor was leaking every time he shut the car off. No wonder his emission system was crying for help. The car was losing vapor pressure faster than he was losing patience. Here's what I did. Wipe the threads and filler neck with a cleaning cloth, hit it with a spritz of WD-40, don't worry, it's rubber safe, and work the residue and dirt out of the grooves. That little bit of maintenance let the cap sit flush again. But the real fix? I swapped out the worn, cracked gasket with a new one, soft, flexible, proper contact. Boom, no more vapor loss, better performance, and the guy didn't need to touch a sensor or use any fancy sealant. You smelling gas after a drive? That's your car whispering, replace my cap, or at least check my seal. 8. If that surprised you, wait till you see how the wrong gas cap can fake a misfire code. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the stuff that's costing people hundreds when it shouldn't. Don't screw this up. Vented versus non-vented caps. I had a guy install a non-vented cap on a truck that needed a vented one within a week. He had hesitation, weird idle, and a check engine light. The tank built up so much vacuum, the fuel couldn't flow right. It even triggered a soft misfire and wrecked his combustion timing. Your cap type matters, it affects airflow, pressure, and how your EVAP system and purge valve operate. Use the wrong one, and you'll get unmetered air, seal failure, and possible stalling. Always get an OEM-compatible replacement, or you're asking for a surge in problems. Mechanic tip: most cheap aftermarket caps are trash. I've seen it too many times. Someone grabs a cheap aftermarket cap from a random parts store, slaps it on, and thinks the problem's solved. But it doesn't click, doesn't lock, and the threads are off. Result? Bad fitment, poor sealing, and a slow vapor leak that tanks your fuel pressure and triggers emissions issues. If the material feels flimsy or the rubber gasket doesn't sit flush, it's a defect waiting to happen. Always test the alignment, check the tolerance, and go with an OEM-compatible replacement or prepare for a return trip to the garage. Bonus tip: always check the cap before sensors. Last week, a customer came in ready to swap out his EVAP canister, sensor, and purge valve, all because of a check engine light. He'd already dropped $200 chasing a code that pointed to a vacuum leak. Know what fixed it? A cracked $15 cap that no one bothered to check first. That little part had messed up the entire fuel system's pressure and triggered a total false alarm. Here's the rule I follow: before you dive into expensive diagnosis, always test the cap. It's the simplest way to isolate problems, especially when symptoms like poor flow, emission warnings, or minor misfires show up. Scan first, troubleshoot in the right sequence, and never skip the obvious, because your system integrity depends on more than just high-end parts. It starts with basic logic. Final takeaway: the $15 fix that outsmarts $500 mistakes. So next time your engine light pops on or your car starts acting weird, don't rush to replace every sensor, valve, or canister under the hood. Start small. That gas cap might look innocent, but it plays a huge role in your fuel system, emissions, and overall performance. I've seen more problems solved with a $15 cap than with $500 worth of guesswork. Trust me, check the seal, listen for the click, clean the threads, and make sure it's the right cap for your system. Because when it comes to keeping your engine running smooth, sometimes the smallest fix makes the biggest difference. Backhand index pointing right if this helped you out. Smash the like button, subscribe for more real-world car fixes, and drop a comment below. Got a weird EVAP code? Let's figure it out together.